Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Spiritual Sojourn. So happy you could join us today. Hey, Tom, how you doing?
Hello, Laurie. I'm doing really well. How about you?
Well, I'm doing okay. It's been kind of stressful the last few weeks. I've been in this process of moving or getting ready to move, and my guides have been very much a part of this. Since the beginning of the year, they have really pushed me to surrender, to really let go of needing to be in control, and really trusting them to guide me literally every step of the way. So every morning I will get up and say, okay, what is it I need to do today? And they give me the next few steps to do. So I've been following that since the first of the year, and it's been an interesting process. And what they were saying today is that this is a process and a way of being that's relevant not just to me, but really to everybody. They were pointing out that this is the year of the snake in the Chinese zodiac, and that they were commenting on the fact that just like snakes who shed their skin when it gets old and they're ready to do something new, they literally shed their skin and move on. That's what they're asking me to do, is really shed everything that I've carried around for 50 years so that I can move into someplace new, to a higher frequency, a higher vibration. And so let me step out of the way and just let them kind of speak to this a little bit. We are grateful to have this opportunity to speak with all of you. For in fact, it is that time. It is this year that is pivotal in encouraging all of you to shed the old. As you are moving closer and closer to a new dimension, higher frequencies, it is imperative that all of you begin to look within, find all the old beliefs, patterns, feelings, thoughts that have not served you well, that no longer help you to move forward, but in fact keep you tied to your past, to the negative parts of your life, perhaps, that no longer serve. By releasing all of this, by going deep within, allowing yourself to be open to shedding, if you will, you are being able to renew yourself, to let go, and to move forward as a newborn in essence, so that you will move forward without the old baggage, without the old beliefs. That opens you to the possibility of what may be coming toward you. It opens you up to the new, to the next, to creating the next timeline for yourself. And this is important that all of you begin to think about this. For some of you, it may mean not only looking through all of the old beliefs, old patterns, old ways of being that no longer serve, it may also mean relinquishing old possessions that you have carried around, perhaps that no longer serve, that hold old energy, that no longer has your highest and best interest at heart, that it continues to keep you tied to your past, which will not serve as you continue to move forward on this earth. For now is the time to be as that newborn, to be as that new snake who shed its old skin, so that you are new and ready to move forward into the new frequencies, the new energies that are coming to the earth. It is the only way for you to truly be able to move forward into the next dimension. For if you are holding on to all the things, the thoughts, the beliefs of the old, it will drag you down and you will not be able to easily move to the next dimension. And we are hoping that all of you will be able to make that transition with the least amount of stress, and that it will be an easy process of moving from this dimension to the next. While this can sound overwhelming and a bit uncomfortable, think of it as something new. Approach it with excitement, with curiosity, with wonder. Who will I be when I shed this old behavior, this old belief, this old stuff? What is waiting for me on the other side? How will I relate to the world? How will I create my reality moving forward? If you can stay centered in your heart, connected to soul, to that divine love, that true being that you are, you will be able to do this from that place of wonder and awe, and that will help you to move through. Allow yourself to have the feelings that you have. It may bring up old sadnesses, grief, loss, whatever surfaces, be with it. Do not try to block it, push it aside, pretend like it's not there. We encourage you to simply stay present and allow it to flow through you. When you can stay open and simply allow these feelings move through you and do not get stuck, pushed down into the unconscious. So we ask that you allow and trust. Call in your entire spiritual team, whoever they may be. Ask them to step forward and surround you in your meditations. Ask them to help you to uncover what needs to be released and support you in this releasing, and they will do so. Ask them each day, as this one has done, what is their task for today? What is it they need to focus on in this moment? And trust that the guidance will be there and that the guidance will come. This is truly a year of surrendering, of releasing, and trusting. Trusting the universe has your back. The universe is working with you and for you.
Mhm.
Trusting this completely with every fiber of your being. For that is what you're being called to do now, in this moment, in this year. So they've kind of stepped back a little bit. So let me give you another example from my own life. So I'm working on moving, making this transition to a new place. And I was determined I was going to move to a certain area in Colorado that I thought I needed to live in, that I want to live in. And I've looked everywhere, every apartment I could find in the areas that I thought, yes, this is where I need to be. This is where they're pushing me to go. This is what they're guiding me toward. Nothing. So I was starting to feel very disheartened and kind of perturbed about, okay, so where am I supposed to live? Um, Finally, I surrendered. The last outing I had, a whole day of looking for every apartment that I could find, and was like, no, these aren't the right ones. I finally came home, said, okay, I surrender. Where do you want me to live? Instantly, the information came to me. They guided me to the website, had me look at this particular place, not far from where I live now, coincidentally, and said, this is where you need to be. And of course, I objected, but that's not where I want to be. And they're like, that is correct. It's not time for you to move there yet. This is where you are being called. This is where you need to be right now.
Mhm.
As soon as I went in to look at the apartments, to just to check it out, I instantly knew it was the place for me,
Mhm.
even though it was nowhere close to where I thought I needed to be. But my heart space opened completely, and it felt like home as soon as I walked in. And that's for me usually how I know, yes, this is where I belong.
Mhm.
So for me, that they allowed me in many ways to just do my own little process, have it my way, check out everything. And then when I was ready to surrender my control and thinking I knew best, they immediately guided me to the exact right place.
Mhm.
So that's what they're talking about. Really allow your team to be there, ask them, follow what they suggest that you do. And that keeps you in alignment and keeps that path moving forward, and you don't keep hitting roadblocks. As you've noticed with me, I tend to want to do it my way, take charge, do it what I want to do. And they allow that to a point. And then when I get frustrated and I finally say, okay, what do you want? They tell me. But they're not going to force anything on me or tell me until I clearly ask them, where do you want me to be? I thought I had done that initially when I was looking at these different places. I don't think I truly did. I think I decided this is where they want me to be, so that's where I'm headed. And so not until I truly just said, okay, where do you want me? Said those words, that's when it became clear.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to ask.
You have to ask, and the point that really sticks out to me is the trust part of that,
Yes.
because in your case, you have the luxury, if I might say, of that two-way communication with your guidance team. A lot of people don't necessarily get the communication back to themselves as clearly as you do. So you have that, and still with that, it was difficult for you to release and trust.
Yes.
So I would like to say to the rest of us that don't have that level of clarity, um, the trust part is even harder, but we still got to do it. And you may recall, Laurie, after we signed off last week, I heard a message on your behalf. If you may recall, it said, I think they said you can't screw this up, which is as to say, don't worry, you won't be able to mess it up. And so that level of confidence and trust is difficult, even with those messages coming through. But we all have to do it for.
Exactly. And I think the important part is that trusting part is you may not hear them. So pay attention to how you feel. How does your heart space feel? What messages are coming through your body, perhaps, or suddenly a knowing or a thought that comes in, or look for synchronicities, those little moments where it's like, oh, or just watch for whatever kinds of messages they may send you in all different ways. You hear a snippet of a conversation, you see a certain bird, and it has meaning. There are all ways for them to communicate with us. That's where then trusting that and trusting yourself to say, okay, this is the message I'm receiving. And I also doubt that at times. It's like I can get the message and then ignore it and or say, am I really hearing that? Is that really what it is? I asked them 1,000 times, I'm sure, over the weekend if this was really what they wanted and where they meant for me to be. And the answer was always consistently, yes, this is where you need to be. So building that trust, though, and part is not so much I don't trust them. A lot of us, I don't always trust myself to receive the right messages. So it takes practice, and the more you work with your team, the more you allow that, the more the trust builds, and then it's easier in whatever way you receive the messages to believe it and then follow through with it.
Mhm. But just everyone needs to know that's grad student level education is that last piece, the trust, and that is really hard for lots of us.
It is, and yes, myself included at times, absolutely. And I just think that's what they're saying, though, is part of the process for us all. And the more is part of that shedding of the old, for me at least, of letting go of those old beliefs that I have to do it all on my own. Um, God helps those who helps themselves, all of that kind of thing. You have to buck up and be strong and pull yourself up by your bootstraps. All that crap that's cultural that comes through us all the time. Paying attention to those messages and releasing those, because that blocks us from that interaction with our spiritual team, whoever they are. It could be your guides, angels, interstellars, whoever's on your team. But the more you can release your own blocks, the old, like they were saying, the old behaviors, the old beliefs, the old messages, the clearer you become. And then you can really have that trust and move forward.
Mhm. It's a
Yeah.
challenge.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask your guides, if I could, why it is that we have to ask and not know in advance when these difficult sheddings or changes come through our lives. How come we can't just know? And if they would be willing to help answer that.
Many times you do just know. When you are centered within your heart space, connected in your consciousness with your soul self, there are those moments in life when you do know, whether we have told you or not. You simply have that sudden understanding and insight that, yes, this is what's next for me. I do need to look at this something in my life right now. We ask that, we wait for you to ask us because we cannot infringe upon your free will. You have, as a human being, you have been gifted with this incredible, wondrous thing of free will. So you can make your own choices, create your own reality. We're here to support you, help you. All of that, we can't interfere. By asking for our assistance, we still don't interfere, but we can then step in and give you information, give you a sign, if you will, a road sign that says turn here, so that you can then, again, using your free will, choose to take it or not. This one could have surrendered last weekend, gotten the information that she received, and still ignored it and still continued to look at the place she wanted to be as opposed to where we knew was highest and best good at this time. She chose to let go of that and move toward what she knew and felt in her heart, that this was highest and best good. And yes, this was where she needed to be for the time being. Maybe not forever, but for this time. We allow that, is we want that because you have to make that determination on your own as a human being. That is your gift, that is your right. We will not interfere with that. And you are always free to ignore us, even when you ask.
Which we all do sometimes anyway, whether we mean to or not.
Yes.
Um,
I'm a master at it, and they know that. They always say to me, okay, here's where you need to be. Now, you take the scenic route, and we'll be here when you get here. Because they know I'm going to always get to wherever it is they're guiding me.
mhm.
Sometimes I just have to go over all the rocks and down the hills and up the mountains to get there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep, I understand that too.
And
And
I'm trying to get to a place of balance within myself where I don't have to be so oppositional and I can actually just relax and allow and follow what they're guiding me toward without all the detours. It would be less wearing over time, I think,
mm.
and much more pleasant.
Well, I suppose if we're going to ask the question, we might want to pay attention to the answer and not
Yes,
ignore it. But it is really difficult when it's not the answer you really, really think you want.
exactly. And the thing that occurs to me always is, okay, this is my ego. This is what I want. My ego says it wants, and where my ego wants to be. That had nothing to do with spirit guiding me to where it was highest and best good for me to be at this time.
Mhm.
Now, just understand, I have no idea why I need to be there right now, why that's the place. And they keep saying to me, this is where you need to be.
Mhm.
I have no idea what that means.
Mhm.
Other than when I first walked into the place, I've already met a couple of the staff people there who clearly have their own spiritual journey that they're moving on. And it just felt like this instant connection. So there may be more to that. There may
Mhm.
be other folks that I'm supposed to meet there that I help in whatever way. So I don't know yet. They just simply said, this is where you need to be now. And I trusted that. And my heart, my soul said yes. As soon as I walked in, it's like, yep, this is it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, we will certainly be keeping an eye on that and finding out the reason as we go on, why it's important for you to be there.
It'll be interesting to see how that unfolds because
Yeah.
I have no idea, not a clue.
Well, and not only that, but if we can follow that case study all the way through and see why it was important. It will help everyone else to understand their own level and need for trust. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it is difficult. So I'm excited for not only this change for you, but the way you're going about it. And
Yeah.
um, uh, even though you've been through these kinds of things before, here you are still picking up new um, ways to do things that are in line with what you're guided to do.
Yeah. It's different this time. It's like I do try to follow guidance. This one has been very, very, very particular, and they have been very clear for me to ask every day, what's the next step that I need to take today? And then they give me that. And I've not worked quite that way with my guides in the past. And I find it really helpful though, because then I know I'm not going off track with my ego, at least some of the times. And so when I'm listening to them and taking that next step, it's always exactly the right step I need to take that takes me to the next place. And then the next step after that.
Mhm.
And so that's new for me. And that's been sometimes frustrating, but also very helpful mostly.
Another subtle point in there that I picked up from you is many of us think we've already asked for that. We've all and didn't we have this conversation just yesterday? Well, yeah, but today things are different and you have to ask again. So that's difficult for people. In my case, that's difficult for me because didn't we just have this conversation yesterday? And so, but no, you need to put it out there again and continue to do that because circumstances change each and every day.
Well, and what I find is I'll ask for something and put it out there, and then I either take it back and keep worrying about it, or my brain takes over and starts working about all the things why it couldn't work. Um, or my belief system kicks in that says, yeah, you asked for that, but that's not going to happen,
Mhm.
whatever it is. And so then, in essence, yes, I've asked, but then I've immediately taken it back and said, okay, never mind, wait, and I'll take care of this, or I need to worry about it some more. And when I can stop that, when I can hear my guide say, stop, you don't need to know all the particulars because my brain always wants to have a plan. So when I ask for something, I have to release it in total trust that it's going to come to me in divine time, not my time, divine time, and exactly how it needs to be. Whether that's what I think it should look like or not, that's what's going to happen.
Mhm.
And that's because I always have a specific thing in mind of how it should look, how it should be, when it should come, like, the next 5 minutes. That's not the way this works, is what I'm finding. And I can see my pattern of asking or turning things over and then immediately in some way taking it back and not letting the universe really do what I've asked it to do. Does that make sense?
It does.
It's
Yep.
taken me a while to figure that out. The other day I was worrying about some aspect of this whole move, and my team was like, "Why are you doing this? Stop. We've got you. We have you. It's all in process. It's okay. Let it go." And I was like, "Oh, yeah," because I forget. And my brain just automatically goes into that worry mode. So it's constantly being aware of my thoughts and noticing when I'm starting to obsess and worry, and then releasing it and saying, wait a minute, they've got me.
Mhm.
I'm good. I'll just ask for my next step and it'll move forward.
And okay, and it is a little confusing even there. You ask regularly, but then you can't obsess on it, as you said. You have to release it and follow whatever you're given. So
Yes.
this is a big project for you, not just moving, but you're talking about all kinds of life circumstances in your case that are changing for you. And
Yeah.
so moving is just one of the many moving parts of this. And so there's lots of back
Yes.
and forth communication happening here.
I really feel like, and I'm so happy when they gave me that whole imagery of shedding your skin kind of image, because that's what it feels like I'm being called to do, is to really shed everything that has held me to the past and really kind of walk away completely free of that and then wait and see what evolves after that. And I don't know. I have to allow it to unfold because I have no idea what this is going to mean or how it's going to look, how I'm going to be ultimately, and what will ultimately, how I will continue to change over this next year as I continue to shed. But I feel like I'm shedding everything, not just me personally and my own beliefs, but physically, where the place where I live, the stuff that I have. I've cleared out so much of just my collections of things and things I've hung on to that I thought I couldn't live without. And then it was like, no, I can release this, and being able to release it and let it go and be okay with that.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. Yeah. And I see that a lot of times as just symbolically the process that is also happening internally and what I'm releasing as well.
Yeah.
It's very exciting and sometimes also very daunting to be in this
Well,
process.
yeah, absolutely. Heavy
Yeah.
on the daunting. And,
Yeah.
and especially when we don't know which trail we're going to take to get there. You don't know
It's
what is down the trail.
exactly. And it's sort of that Buddhist concept of the not knowing and being comfortable with not knowing, which I'm not very comfortable with not
No,
knowing. I want to know
no.
everything.
Let me give my objection to that right here, right now.
Right. And yet I understand and I'm beginning to appreciate not knowing is okay and I can be comfortable with it, at least for moments. I can be comfortable in the not knowing and trusting that the next step will show up for me. And for all of us, not just me, but for all of us, when we can come to that place of trust that, okay, I don't know, and I trust that I will know when I need to and it'll reveal itself,
Mhm.
then we can keep moving forward and not get stuck.
Well, this is going to be a learning experience for all of us, not just you. So thank you for sharing it with us. Is there anything else you would like to convey or that your guides would like to convey to us?
What the guides want everyone to understand is they're using me and my process right now as the example, but this is for everyone. This is the year of the snake. It's that symbol of shedding. And this is your time then to begin to go inward and ask, what do I need to release? What do I need to shed to move onto my path in a different way and to keep moving forward, to really let my frequency, my vibrations increase? What is weighing me down? So, all of us, I think the entire world is being asked right now to step into this and take that leap of faith and do this work. It's important.
Mm. And I'm excited to see maybe down the road a little ways, we will visit this again and see how some of these difficult periods and decisions went for you. And it will be a learning experience for everyone.
Mhm. Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully,
I'm sure it will be.
and
Yes.
hopefully not too painful for you.
I'm trusting it will be what it will be, and I'm sure there'll be bumps because there always is.
Mm,
And that's okay. I have this, I guess, different level of trust and appreciation for my team right now and my guides, and really knowing that they really do have my back. They've got me.
yeah, that is a comforting feeling. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm happy for that for you.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
anything else, Laurie, before we shut it down for today?
I think that's enough.
That's a lot. That's a lot. And again, I can't wait to see what this looks like when we get down the road a ways. I'm sure it'll
Me
be fascinating.
too.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm excited.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank Laurie for sharing her personal experience and giving us an example to follow. And I'm excited for all of that. If you have comments, please feel free to put them below this video. And you can also give us a like, or you can subscribe if you haven't done that already. And maybe most importantly, you can share this with a friend if you can think of someone who would benefit from hearing from our podcasts. And we have a community page under the title of posts where you can suggest topics for the future or anything else that you'd like to discuss, and we will get back to you, we promise. And last, if you'd like to get a hold of either Laurie or me, you can email us at ourspiritualsojourn@gmail.com. And with that, thanks, Laurie, and thanks everyone for your attention. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Well, that was fun.